On that note, it must have been a game you felt, especially at half time, you were on course to win.
Yeah, look, I don't think you ever, against a good team away, think you're going to win, but I think we put ourselves in a pretty good position to win it first half. It's, well, from my perspective, obviously it's my like sixth competitive game. It's probably our best performance. And sometimes against the best teams you have your best performance but don't get the results. So I think in general it was pretty pleasing, other than the final scoreboard really.
Yeah, how frustrating was it when you score tries like that and then in the second half what you have 10% possession or whatever it was?
Yeah, well, half time was obviously very positive because we finished the half. Last 10 minutes we scored 2 really good tries. And we could see some of our work coming through in terms of our shape, our forwards making extra passes, getting George and Tipperick on the ball as much as we can. And obviously you hope for more of the same second half, and that was the message really, to keep challenging them with our shape. But as you said, we had 20% possession in that second half, and I think 10% of that possession was in our own 22. So yeah, it was frustrating, but as I said, on the whole, it was something when you look back at as a coach and look at some of the stuff we played and looked at how hard we worked defensively, that was pretty pleasing. As I said, obviously still a tough one to take, losing the derby.
How are you approaching this competition now you've parked the Pro 14?
Really just to keep building. I think the beauty of a change of competition, it does freshen things up a little bit for the players and the coaches, because you go from, especially after a derby, something that's very familiar. Players know each other, the coaches know each other, you know each other's style of play, to, especially against a French team, but almost the unknown really. So it's very difficult to plan because we don't know what their selection will be. But it almost makes it quite nice because we've had a good performance. Granted, the result wasn't what we wanted, and we can try and build on that against a team that we can probably focus on ourselves a little bit more.
Do you reshuffle as well? Is that the philosophy? Are they big players? Do you rest players?
Yeah, we'll rest a few, not wholesale changes, so it won't be the same as the Munster game as an example, but where we can rest a few bodies, especially some of the boys obviously who are going to be involved for internationally for the next 12 months. We'll rest maybe 1 or 2 of them, but certainly not wholesale.
Did you pick up any knocks last weekend?
Nothing. Sam Cross had a knock, but I'm not sure how that's reported. But there's nothing nothing major that I know of yet.
When you talk about opposition and French sides, obviously you look at some of the big names in their ranks. Do you expect to come across them this weekend?
Obviously, from experience of this competition the last 2 years, I think in the early rounds you don't really know what you're going to come up against. So I think we played with the Blues. We played Lyon last year, and I think all the All Blacks were off skiing, so they literally had an academy team out. So I think obviously some of the foreign players in the early rounds take it as a chance maybe to visit Barcelona and go for a ski in the Alps. But as you get into the later rounds, they seem to make an appearance. But yeah, they're a little bit different, Poe, because obviously they've got a very New Zealand influence. I think Carl Heyman's their forwards coach. I think Conrad Smith's helping out with their defence now. They've got Colin Slade at 10, so they're a little bit more structured than the many French teams. So I think it's just wait and see what turns up really.
Yeah. And in terms of this competition, a couple of years ago, obviously that Stade Francais game, is that still in the back of the memory, and what could it be a couple of years ago in this competition?
Not for me. I do remember the game and the run that we had in that competition. So it's as I said, it's a competition where after 6 Pro 14 games, it's a freshen up for the coaches and the players, and something that we look forward to, especially obviously at home. It's something we've put a big emphasis this year on, is turning the Liberty into a really difficult place to come and play. So it's an opportunity to show our fans hopefully some of the building on the performance from the weekend.
Alan mentioned last week Keelan Giles wasn't far off making his comeback. Is he getting closer? Yeah,
he's available this weekend, Keelan. So he may be in the match day squad, not 100% confirmed yet. I'll just make sure he gets through the week. But it'd be exciting, almost like a new signing. Obviously I've worked with him previously, but only training really. He didn't get on the in the summer tour, but he's looked brilliant in training. He's nice fresh pair of legs, as I said, almost like a new signing. So
because when he first came on the scene, obviously there was a lot of hype. I mean, he was scoring tries for fun in this competition in particular. There's going to be expectation again for him to just hit the ground running, I suppose.
Yeah, I think we have to be careful of that. He's had a serious injury. He's still a young kid, so for me, if he gets some game time at the weekend and he comes through unscathed and he's getting back to the flow of the game, that's the main thing. It's I did say to him today, actually, I think Georgia scored 4 tries and Luke Morgan scored 3. Yeah. So just trying to get into Keelan's ego a little bit to see if we can get him scoring. So yeah, he's got a bit of catching up to do with George and Luke at the moment. So
with Luke's performance as well last weekend, you've got options at goal.
Yeah, look, he's been a real find for us. He obviously come in from the sevens as someone who's got a fantastic sevens record. The question mark, I think, on everyone's mind, and same with me, was can he transfer his sevens form to 15s? And credit to Luke, he's done exactly what he did in sevens at 15s. He tries to beat the first man. He's exciting when he gets on the ball. More pleasingly, probably the boring bits for coaches is his pendulum works really good. So he's worked in the backfield very well. He reads opposition kickers' body language pretty well. He's defended pretty well. So the stuff that we had question marks on, he's presently stepped up to the plate to. Added to that, he's obviously shown some glimpses that he can cause problems for defences. So yeah, he's been a massive positive for us so far.
Are you shocked by how easily he's made the transition? Because sometimes when somebody goes from 7s to 15s, it takes a little while for them to really sort of get into the game and hit their straps.
Yeah, I think probably the best place for it to happen is on the wing, because obviously your athletic ability is your athletic ability. So, and you look at Sam Cross, who's come in, he's got a lot of athletic ability, and the way the game is now, that's almost a given. You need people who are fast and mobile, and the sevens is a brilliant grounding for that. So look, I've not been surprised in how he is on the ball. It's more of his off the ball stuff that's been a pleasant surprise. And credit to Luke for that. He's worked hard.
Do you think he can get even better? Are you excited by how you're seeing it?
Yeah, I think again it's just being patient with him as well. He started really well. It's never a straight line as a rugby player, so you're going to have dips of form, and you're going to have a couple of weeks, especially on the wing, where you have quieter days than others. So I think for Luke, it's just, I try and keep it as simple as possible for him, and almost say, keep reminding him, keep doing what you do in sevens. You get the ball, try and beat the first man, and there's little bits and pieces that tactically we work on. But I think it's almost quite nice to see a player out there not overthinking and trying to back himself one-on-one against his opposite man. So I think if we can keep him doing that, it'll benefit everyone.
So obviously early days, but could he potentially have an international future, do you think? Because we're not exactly maybe blessed for wings in Wales.
I don't know, there's some fairly decent wings.
But maybe in comparison to some other countries.
Yeah, I think let's see how he goes in the Pro 14 first, and then if something happened off the back of that, brilliant. But for me, that would be I'd be a little bit farther down the line maybe.
Are you happy with how the backline's going in general? I mean, obviously first block of the season over. How happy are you? Yeah,
I'm pretty pleased. I think the first 20 minutes probably at the weekend, I felt we gave the Scarlets a little bit too much respect. We maybe got the balance of our game slightly wrong. There was 4 or 5 forward carries to every back's carry, and I think once the backs grew in confidence and we got Sam and George on the ball and Corey Allen on the ball, we looked a much better balanced team. So the thing I repeated to the backs in the meeting today is they've just got to trust their instinct and back their ability a little bit more. If they feel something is on, back their instinct and call it. And from my perspective, if they're backing themselves and going for it, I don't mind if they make a mistake. That's my job to try and help them with that. But I was really pleased last 60 minutes that as a backline they stepped up and created a good Scarlets defence and some problems, and obviously to outscore Scarlets 3-2 on their own home ground was very positive for us.
Matt, how do you view Sam Davis in terms of the way he started the season? I mean, you know, if he is out of favour with Wales at the moment, do you think he can get back in?
Yeah, I think he can, yeah. Again, it's about Sam playing regularly, because obviously with a quality player like Dan Biggar here, he was always playing 2 or 3 games and then maybe getting a break, and then probably the reality of it was when a big game come, obviously Dan Biggar would come back in. So I think I said before here, probably learning from working with young 10s in the past is nothing beats a run of games. So if Sam plays 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games on the trot, then it's of more benefit than 100 training sessions. So he's playing well, plus he's getting better at the moment. So there's things that you know, we've agreed that he needs to work on, and genuinely every week he's getting a little bit better at it. His kicking game is excellent. I thought he showed some real maturity away against Zebra, where he's slotting 3 points with a drop goal and playing in the right areas. And then probably on the flip side of that, against the Scarlets, when the game broke up a little bit, he showed some of his attacking flair as well. So look, he's progressing nicely, but again, I think let's focus on him playing well for the Ospreys, and then if he gets that call up, then great. But has he got potential to play for Wales? 100%, yeah.
You mentioned the Challenge Cup earlier. Tournament last year, that fond memories of the Blues. Just what does it mean in the Blues season?
Look, it's a competition where, when obviously from my experience last year playing in a European final, I know it's not the European final that we want to be in. We want to be in the main European competition, and obviously that's an aim for this year. But the farther you go in it, it does become a really exciting competition. You get big knockout games and play against some of the best teams in Europe. Obviously Clermont are in the competition. We've got Stade Francais in our group. You're playing against some of the best teams and best players in the world. So it's a really good competition to, as I said, go from Pro 14 into Europe, because it's a change of environment. It's a change of face in terms of who you're playing against, and it's also a really good competition where you can test your depth of your squad a little bit. So it's, on all fronts, it's something that we were looking forward to.
Dan Evans and Dan Liddy missed last weekend. What are you expecting of them when they're back?
There's nothing serious with both of them. I think Dan just had a little bit of a spasm in his hamstring. Lids was a little bit of a stinger, so they're only 1 or 2 week injuries. So around the next couple of weeks, they'll be fine to go.